Good morning, everyone. So, my wife and I are planning a trip for 2025, our first one. So, we're going to be going to Reelfoot Lake State Park up in northwest Tennessee. It's about 5.5 hour drive from here without any stops. So, it'll be, 6-7 hours. Planning 2 charging stops on the way. We're going to be there for about 2 days. They start their Eagle Tours, Bald Eagle Tours, January 3rd. We're going to take the first one of those, then come back on a Saturday. So I'll try to record the charging, driving, some of the things there at the park. We're both recovering from, I've had the stomach bug. My wife's had respiratory stuff, so we may hang out at the campground more than we normally would. But gonna let you know how it is pulling with Silverado EV in the winter time. So temps are gonna be 40s during the day, 20s at night. So we'll see what kind of range you get pulling, how the charging experience is. Planning to do 2 Tesla chargers on the way there, probably 3 on the way back, just to make times as short as possible. On the way there, I'm starting out with 100%. Gonna go by my mom's, which is kind of on the way. It's gonna add about an hour, but we'll come in. We're gonna drive some secondary roads from Chattanooga to Columbia. There's a charger in Cornersville, and we'll charge there for about an hour to get to like 95%. So I'll stop at her house, gonna install a breaker for my nephew's charging. The breaker went bad. So my advice is don't use Chinese breakers. I've had 2 of those go bad already. I've got an Eaton breaker that I ordered, and I'm going to install that so he can charge his Model Y. It's been down for about a week. But anyway, that's why we're stopping. Long stretch from there. Gonna take like 75-80% of the charge to get to Jackson. We're going to stop at the Casey Jones Railroad Museum there in Jackson. It's a big Tesla charging station. They've got pull-throughs there and the Cornersville site, so should be able to pull through if it's not being used, not unhitch. And hopefully get, 180 kilowatts, can charge pretty good. There in Jackson, we only need to charge to 80%. To make it to Reelfoot, but we want to have a little extra when we get there. So the campground in Reelfoot is, the main one is being renovated, so we're not able to stay at that one. It's going to open up in May of 25. We are going to stay at what is their kind of backup campground. It's a very small campground. It has 15 campsites. I believe we're going to be the only one there 1 or 2 nights. There's somebody there tonight I saw on the reservations. So pretty remote campsite, going to feel like we're boondocking, but they don't have 50 amp plugs there. It'll be just a 30 amp plug and hopefully a 120. I am going to plug the truck into the 120 just to trickle charge and keep the battery warm, kind of thing. They do have a Tesla charger in Union City, about 40-minute drive away from the state park there. But we'll let you see some things from the state park, campsite, those kind of things. I will also try, probably in Cornersville, I'm going to try plugging the camper in while we charge. And can I power the camper while I'm charging? Does that affect charging, or would I be able to run the air more in the summertime than right now? But just to see if it works and let you guys know how that goes. So that's our plan. We'll be there 3 nights, 2 days, hanging around Reelfoot Lake, which I think most people have heard of from the New Madrid fault earthquake back in the 1800s. Formed the lake there. Never been there. One of my bucket lists is go there. I want to go to every state park in Tennessee, camp at them all. So this will get one off my checklist. So we'll let you guys know how the trip goes. We're still getting loaded up here on New Year's Day. We are hooking up. I know I'm coming from an old truck, but it's awesome having these cameras. And I'm off a little, but very close. So one interesting tidbit, the camera is slightly offset to the driver's side in the rear. So you have to be just a little bit over, if you can see where this alignment is on the line, helping you line up to the driver's side, and you'll hit it right on. But if you get right on the center, you'll be over to the passenger side. So here's one bit of information. Mileage estimate adjusts as soon as you plug in the trailer lights. It doesn't matter whether you have tow haul mode on or not. See, the mileage has dropped down to 224. I can turn tow haul mode on, back off. Mileage doesn't change. So it's based on the lights. May do it for tow haul mode as well. I have to try that some other time. Here's one other piece of advice, Jim. Wait to turn the truck off until I close the door, not as soon as I get out. It'd be nice to be able to leave the truck on when jumping out, check something, get back in, and not have to restart. Just little things that would make a big difference. You can see I got my trailer camera hooked up here. I'll be able to see out the back. It's very nice to have. These mirrors are not tow mirrors, so the backup camera comes in handy. I do have to have my lights on all the time, which isn't that bad, but it helps me see what's going on behind me before I change lanes. All right, here we are pulling out, 100% charge, 136 miles to Corner's full charger. It's a Tesla supercharger. Hopefully we can get the pull-through site for that. Tanya did a quick calc on if we get 0.8 miles per kilowatt hour, we should get there with 22% left. And you can see we're at 100%, or just clicked over to 99 just now. And we're just leaving Chattanooga, so give you guys updates as we go. So here's a quick update. We've gone about 47 miles, 0.7 miles per kilowatt hour, so we may have a little less than 22%. We're about to go over Mont Eagle, so we'll use more there. I'll show you some of the usage there. And then we're going to be on secondary roads, driving like 65 or less, so we may get back up to that 0.8 before we get there.
If you're reading this now, odds are I've already left town. A few cities in between, the new skyline where I'm looking down. A few empties on the floor and a note on the door of your house. And this silence reminds me of what's left behind me for now. There's a broken down car parked outside the barn up the road, and a weather vane hanging all crooked from the rain and the snow. I'm a half-mile past where we ran out of gas years ago, so I'm taking my time and I'm gonna drive by it once more. But you'll see there's a new life waiting, and I just don't want this feeling to go. If you're reading this now, please remember the good times we had. Don't forget about the moments we tried, we cried, or we laughed. There's a good chance our paths will leave eventually meet up somehow. Just know I had good reason to go if you're reading this now. I spent too many nights with the lights out, replaying this scene where we shared the same space, the same beautiful place in my dreams. And I kick at the walls, I keep tripping on old memories. And I try to sing along to the song on this old record machine, but I can't get the words to come out right. I forget this whole melody. If you're reading this now, know I'm wondering how things will be if I bump into you, or the things that you do when I leave. There's a million little things that I'll miss. Just know that somehow you don't need another reason to leave me if you're reading this now. I'm a long ways away, but you're safe, and I know you're better off this way if you're reading this now. I think we all thought that we did the right thing, but it didn't turn out that way. It's been heavy and we're starting to break, but I hope you'll be okay. There's little difference in the words that we say, 'cause we all want the same thing. The sun still rises in her usual way to welcome the new day. I don't feel it.
We are getting ready to go to Supercharger. 16% state of charge. Our video is pulling in to the site.
Payment has failed.
Take exit 22.
Let's go. It's all right. Good enough.
Okay.
In 800 feet,
More
turn
tickets.
left onto the ramp.
I'm gonna do this
31
now.
alternate north.
Now they're $149.
Turn left onto the ramp to US 31 alternate
just
north,
wanna
then
cry.
turn left.
Just try another a night. Stinky, huh?
Yeah. Or do the same ones, I bet.
I don't have the same tickets available anymore. They're now $149.
Wow.
So,
Turn
yeah.
left, then your destination will be on the left.
But they're not there anymore. I don't know what happened. Time went.
We're gonna go up here.
Take the next left, then turn left.
Okay, I understand my password. That still has time. I'm just gonna close it all out. That isn't.
Somebody's using the one on the end. Pretty stinky people.
Okay. Looks like they're still there.
Take a
I
U-turn,
don't know if
then
I'm
turn
actually
left.
there,
We-
really there.
Pull up and find this. So we're gonna try the other side. Maybe we can use it.
Yeah.
It's Colorado
Maybe it's-
Model Y. Didn't want to back in.
Take the next left, then turn right.
Glad they had it easy pulling.
Head southwest, then turn right.
Wednesday night. That'd work. They got several of them. Let's see where those are. I think those are fine.
It'll stick out a little bit. I think it's gonna work.
All right, I got 7 minutes. Let's just get the payments correct.
It's charging started.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Trying to get the camper in here. I think I'm too far away. We'll see if it reaches. It worked. Now I can hear the charger running and cooling. So the truck's charging and we're gonna be here for about an hour, I think. As you can see here, we charged all the way to 95%, but at 90% here, we were following pretty much the curve, taper off as you get above 80%. Also, I wanted to note, I did plug in the camper here to the power base and was able to use space heater, microwave. We ate lunch in the camper. I do think it made it take a little longer to charge at this point, but you can see it took an hour and a half versus what it could have taken probably closer to an hour. I think by using the power, it took a little longer. But good experience. I did apologize to the guy in the Volkswagen for being so close to him. I probably should have backed up and got over further, but he seemed understanding. I was trying to get the camper pulled into that tight spot. Oh. All right, we made it to Jackson. We had 20% left, so I think this battery is even bigger than they say. But I did take it easy on the hills and speed limits. So here's the last leg, hour and a half to Reelfoot Lake State Park Campground on the North Air Park. So we'll get there, be about 8 o'clock or so. We got plenty of charge to make it. Here's a picture of the Jackson Charger. It's at Casey Jones Railroad Museum. Very tight parking there. Barely able to pull in. And then pulling out, we had to run over 2 curbs to get out. I mentioned it later in the video, but rough on the tires, jarred things around in the camper. Not a good situation, just not enough room here to pull in and out. But we were to charge relatively fast, and successful charge, and we were able to continue our trip. All right, we got here after dark. 370 miles, 0.7 miles per kilowatt hour. 39%. I've got it plugged into the 110, so we'll trickle charge about 1 kilowatt. Get a little bit, at least keep the battery warm. But truck did well. Very pleased with the trip so far. We got in after dark. I'll show you the campground tomorrow. Here is our campsite. We are the only ones here. 14 campsites, and it's just us. So a little bit creepy at night, but we made it fine. There is one light in each campground loop. Here's another view of the campgrounds. We had lots of rain, a lot of water sitting around in that first loop. Our loop over there is a little muddy, but no water. Pretty day.
Over there. I see our baby raccoon.
Yeah,
He didn't get in the water.
He may climb a tree. He can't go in the water. Where'd he go?
He found a good hiding spot.
Yeah, he's had.
You be safe. We weren't gonna hurt you. Oh, big egret.
Oh, yeah.
Back up, I'll get a
Back up,
picture.
get a picture. Put your window down.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, what are y'all doing? We have to look at
Bye.
nigga. Uh-oh.
Maybe.
He let.
No, I see him. I got him. Got a good picture of him.
It's better when he's standing up tall.
That's all right. I think I got a pretty good one, the first one. Yeah, I got him standing up.
Cool.
Second picture wasn't too good. Probably trashy. Little cardinal. Probably gonna say we're doing old people things, watching birds.
So here's the trail. Boardwalk section closed.
I think it's flooded. I don't think we should walk on it.
Hiking trail. Let me see how long it is.
Are you wanting to?
No.
I got him. Got a good picture.
Here we are at Reelfoot Lake, out at what was it? Walnut Logging Road. You can see the upper part of the lake here. Some birds flying in the distance. Pretty cool. There was a Rivian Adventure Network level 2 charger. We were able to charge at the visitor station while we went on the Eagle Tour. So that was a nice surprise.
That's an eagle.
Okay, we are just pulling out from Reelfoot Lake State Park. We stayed at the North Air Park campground. The main campground was being remodeled and was closed and it's not opening until May or summer sometime this year. They did have water up, so water was in the campground that was being remodeled. So it was being delayed. Interesting that it floods that easily. So Tanya, what are your thoughts of Reelfoot Lake? Did you enjoy it? What do you think?
I liked it. It was definitely, the park is a lot smaller. The campground was, we were the only campers there. And I never really saw a park ranger. If you had to use the bathroom, luckily we were able to use our camper, but I mean, it was pretty far off. But we had power and water, and I loved our site. Expect to be woke up to duck hunters. Felt like an 80s video game.
Yeah. Sounded like fireworks every morning. About 6:30 started and kept going.
But I would definitely recommend the state park Eagle Tour. It was excellent. We were hoping to see double digits of eagles in the wild, and we saw 13 with them. Learned how ourselves, and actually saw another probably 10 ourselves, and then saw 10 flying this morning before we left.
Yeah, they were beautiful. Once we learned what to look for, we were able to look for them ourselves. We didn't really know before, but we drove around some just looking after the tour and saw several. It was kind of neat.
The day before, we actually went over to the refuge, and wildlife refuge. I didn't know that was really there. That's kind of cool to check out too. I think they actually give free tours. Some of the places the state park took us was on the refuge. We kind of backtracked where we went the day before. Interesting, our campground had an airport too.
Yep, it was actually a pretty nice runway, but it was like nobody there. I mean, this whole campsite and that area just felt deserted.
Except for the helicopter that came in the middle of one night,
yeah,
landed, stayed for 30 minutes, and took off.
The only airplane we heard at the airport was one helicopter that landed, stayed there about 30 minutes, and then left. I'm guessing somebody was coming in to duck hunting. But there were several little resorts for duck hunters. That seems to be the big thing right now in January. And we did see several of those. And we did go over to Union City to charge the truck. That went well. It was a Tesla charger there. It was about a little over a 30-minute drive. At Reelfoot, everything's flat. It's farmland. But over at Union City, it got hilly again. So it was interesting, the terrain change.
Be prepared for the wind with the flat, especially near the water. We were amazed how windy and cold the wind was.
And then getting here, it's about a 6-hour drive without stops, and we were driving the 4WT work truck from Chevrolet, electric, so we had to stop twice. Those chargers, they were Tesla chargers. Both of them had pull-through chargers. They were both a little challenging. The parking lot's really tight with the big camper, a little hard to get in the parking. The one in Cornersville wasn't too bad. I got really close to the car next to us just to make the turn. But the one in Jackson, the Casey Jones Railroad Museum, had a lot of chargers. I think it was 24 chargers there, but it was so small and crowded, we had to run over the curb on both sides, and the camper had to run over the curb to get out of the parking lot. Didn't like that. It jarred everything in the camper.
I didn't want to go back. It was too complicated to try to park and hook up. They're just, if you're in a truck, it's fine, but if you're pulling a camper, there was no room.
Yep, so it's not ideal. I mean, it's great not to unhook the camper and charge, but it was not ideal. Going back, we're going to try the EV Go charger in Jackson. We'll do a short video just showing what that looks like. I don't know how that's going to go. It doesn't have pull-through. We'll see if we can leave the camper hooked up while we charge. And then we're going back through Nashville instead of Cornersville, and there's a big Tesla charging station there outside of Nashville. Hopefully that goes well.
A neat family thing was we got a surprise in Tiptonville. We went to the movie theater. It was built in 1910, and they show modern movies for $7 at night. And you could get popcorn and a Coke for $10, enough for two. And so we had a really cool evening. I mean, they were old wooden seats, padded, but nice screen, nice, several people there. It was very family oriented, really cool.
That was a neat experience. I would recommend it. It was in the old part of town. Really old theater, opened in 1915, I believe. But it was a good experience. We have seen some wildlife. Mainly we came to see the eagles, but we've seen some raccoons, blue herons, hawks,
deer.
And deer, those kind of things. And it's been a neat experience. We've never been here before, so glad we came and have seen it. And then we'll see how the trip back goes today. It's on a Saturday, but we're not expecting any troubles. And it was pretty cold temperatures. The heat ran a lot in the camper, but everything worked well, and we did well. Not a little odd being the only camper in the campground, but we didn't have any trouble with that. So that was a unique experience. But just wanted to share with you guys our experience. Anything else you want to add, Tanya?
Nope, it was a good trip.
See you guys. Here's the charger in Jackson. We are sticking out, but not too bad at the Pilot. Just a few final thoughts on a trip to Reelfoot Lake. You can see at the end there, 360 miles, 0.7 miles per kilowatt hour for the trip overall. Uneventful on the way home. Everything went smooth. We did make 3 stops. The last one was real short, about 10 minutes, just to get home with 15% and not stress out at the end. Overall, great trip. Truck pulls wonderfully. Tanya drove it for the first time with the camper, this time on one leg. Did well for her, and very enjoyable. And I'd recommend going to Reelfoot for a few days if anybody wants to. And wintertime travel with the Silverado EV is very possible. You do get a little bit less miles per kilowatt hour in the winter than the summer. I normally get 0.9 and got 0.7. So just wanted to let you guys know how our trip went, and we had a good time. Until next time, see ya.